the heck happened to romance? I know, I sound like a single woman in her 30s, but this is my channel, so it's about storytelling. And have you noticed how dead romance is? And not just rom-coms, romance of all stripes. It has been banned from movies. Two characters love each other or end up together by the end of the story. That's preposterous. People don't fall in love in real life. Get out of here. I just want to look at this through the lens of the MCU. For the first two phases, there was a romance in every movie. But by phase 3, it had slowed down considerably. And then in phase 5, it kind of stopped altogether. There are no romantic relationships anymore. It started with Captain Marvel, and it just got worse from there. Black Widow? Absolutely not. Shang-Chi? Eternals? Some. I didn't see it, so I can't elaborate, but it's mainly relationships with no romance. Pretty sure there's a betrayal between a marriage in that one. No Way Home? Peter and MJ are a big part of it, so I'll let it pass. Multiverse of Madness? Nope. Love and Thunder? Quantumania? No romance, especially since Hope was famously edited out of the movie since Evangeline Lilly had opinions about vaccines. The Marvels? Don't make me laugh. Deadpool and Wolverine? You can make an argument. Brave New World? Nothing. Thunderbolts? Not a bit. Fantastic Four? I think they tried a little bit. Again, I didn't actually see it. I don't want to. There was a hard cutoff, though. Around 2020, movies decided that romance wasn't dead, but it should be. The rom-com had already been dead for some time, apart from a few sputters like Ticket to Paradise, I Want You Back, or Anyone But You, but they're kind of the exception that proves the rule because they were so noteworthy when they were released. But this goes way beyond just the assassination of the rom-com. Empire Magazine put out a list of the 50 greatest action movies of all time. Of those, I've seen 30 of them, and of those 30, 23 of them have a romantic subplot. Of their 50 greatest comedies, I've seen 28. One of the top 10 I've never heard of, which bothers me. What is with Nail and I? And 20 of them have a romantic subplot. Of the 22 that I haven't seen, I know for a fact that 9 have a romantic plot. I think this absence is one of the things that has broken movies. I'm going to focus on action movies and get a little metaphysical here. What is the purpose of fixing the world's problems or fighting to stay alive? You're just going to die anyway, so why not get it over with? You may only enjoy the fixed world for a little while, so why not just rest? Yes, death is bad. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. But to what purpose? Just life for life's sake? We want the character to stay alive because we like them? No, there has to be more. We need more than that to truly care about these characters in these situations. And what is that more? It sounds cheesy and stupid, but love. But not just love, romantic. Let's get married and have kids love. Two characters fighting against the darkness and coming together is more than just righting wrongs. It's the continuation of life far beyond themselves. Their lives might end, but more life will come because they were together and they survived. This is the thinking behind my weird trilogy. Show that continuation, the progression of this relationship. It's the reason why so many great movies end with a kiss or a wedding or a child, because that is the point. Middle-earth didn't defeat Sauron just because Sauron bad. They did it so their children could be free, could be safe, could be at all. Eleanor running to Sam when he gets home is the reason for his adventure. And regret that he won't marry Rosie is what breaks his heart the most when he thinks he's going to die. Knowing that Arwen and Aragorn will have a child is the reason for the adventure and makes the effect of the victory last far beyond the movie's limited depiction of the world that it created. That love, the love that creates new life, is the reason to fight. The murdered wife, girlfriend, husband, or boyfriend is more than just someone I love died and that's sad. Your spouse is tied to your life and the future of your family. Without them, you end. Even brothers in arms stories, the fact that there's a wife or a girlfriend at home is central to the character's drives and motivation. Protecting your brother is what drives you in the trench to keep fighting, but your family back home is why you jumped in the first place. If you think about it, romance is the greatest, most impactful adventure most of us will ever be a part of. Some people have done amazing things like invent cars or airplanes or computers that impact the entire world for over a century. But for most of us, getting married and having children is the most impactful thing that will ever happen to us. Wooing and being wooed is the story of life. My family loves the story that my grandfather showed up at my grandmother's house with flowers and a box of chocolates to ask her out. She already had a date that night, so she took the flowers and the chocolates, put them inside, and ran out to another guy's car while my grandfather was still standing on the porch. It is so sad. You feel so bad for my grandfather, even though you know it worked out. They did get married. They had 3 kids who got married and gave them 16 grandkids, most of whom are married now and have given them 40 great grandkids. If my grandfather had just given up, thought that was rude and moved on to someone else, that is 56 people so far who wouldn't exist. One of the things that I love about Back to the Future is it may be the only time the incredible century-spanning significance that asking a girl to dance has in the world. Marty is fading out of existence because his life hinges on George kissing Lorraine. And that is everyone's story. You are here on this planet because your dad had the guts to ask your mom out, and she took leave of her senses just long enough to say yes. It's not a dig at your dad. I seriously don't know why women put up with us. I take the time to make these videos for no money, but my wife loves me anyway. Baffling. But now what do we have? Movies where the whole point is that a woman doesn't need a man. Movies about friends that stay friends. Movies about siblings. Romance is dead, but it did not die of natural causes. Again, like I said about self-aware movies, not all movies need romance. But call me old-fashioned, maybe some should have it. What killed it? Mainly the current age of feminism that we're in. They accuse some of the great female characters of merely being a prize for the hero. See my princess video for more on that. They said that romance says that women need men to be complete. No, women are human, and humans need to not be alone. They said this made girls think that getting married and having kids was all that mattered. I mean, it's not all that matters, but it's probably the most important thing you'll ever do.
I come from a long line of wives and mothers. Many do.
Beats the ever living crap out of just getting as many billable hours as possible, and you know what? That goes for guys too. Oh, but men get told that it's important to be successful in warriors. All of that is so much better than a homemaker. First of all, no, it's not. Homemaking is way more important than any of that. C.S. Lewis said that it's the job that all other jobs exist to support. Second, most great heroes that pursue those things do so either to provide for or protect their families. The characters that want to be rich just to be rich or tough just to be tough are usually villains. One of the great tragedies in A Christmas Carol is that Scrooge chose his career over having a family, and one of the great joys is that he finds a new family in the Cratchits. The lack of romance has meant we don't care as much as we used to, and it's honestly because the story matters a lot less. It's why, even though it's an amazing spectacle, the extended story of John Wick feels a little hollow because we're only seeing if John is going to survive. The tension of the first one is, will John get justice for the death of the last kind thing his wife was able to do for him? But the villains after the first one are only villains because they want John dead. We don't actually see them doing anything to the rest of the world that John is trying to prevent. John has no family to go back to and no prospects for starting a new one. He's alone in the world. And John's survival, for the sake of John's survival, is kind of empty. It's one of the reasons Sharon was killed, so we have another reason to want the villain dead. Also because the actor had died and they needed to write him out of the series. Rest in peace. We need romance put back into stories again. It's okay to show characters fall in love. I've argued it's important. So many people in every worldview agree that love is one of the most important things in the world, but for some reason, it's not allowed to be a character's motivation anymore, while it's one of the main motivations of almost everyone on the planet. A lot of stories feel like they're missing something these days, and romance is a really big part of it. The Bible says, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I am a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. Movies without love are just visible and audible noise, sound and fury signifying nothing. You'll see me next time if you subscribe.